Detroit Beard Collective is a proud sponsor of Creaking Door Paranormal Radio, powered by SlackJawPunks.com.
Guys, tired of trying to make that burly beard of yours look and smell good? Then check this out. Straight out of the Motor City, where they know a thing or two about being tough, comes Detroit Beard Collective, specializing in making that facial hair look good with products like beard butter, beard oils and soaps, specialty combs, and so much more. Come check out the line today at DetroitBeardCollective.com. DBC takes pride in using Detroit and Michigan-based companies and ingredients in all aspects of their product development and manufacturing as they continue to build Detroit's premier grooming company. Even burly dudes like to look and smell good, and DBC will make that happen. Do yourself and your badass beard a favor and log on to DetroitBeardCollective.com and check out all the amazing products they offer. And when you're ready to check out, use promo code SJPDBC to receive 10% off. Detroit Beard Collective, cleaning this world up one beard at a time.
And welcome back inside Creaking Door Paranormal Radio under some very strange circumstances since the last time we were together, and of course practicing our social distancing here at the Creaking Door studios. But welcome back in. Tim and Brad with you. And Brad, I can barely see you. We've got the petition up between us. We've got walls around us. We're doing our part.
Take the mask off.
Get the mask off. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, what a crazy time to be living.
It really is. Something no one saw coming.
No.
Something I don't.
You and I have never seen in our lifetime.
No, I don't. Our parents.
No. This whole coronavirus is. Man, and the worst thing is, like anything else, the not knowing. When is this going to end? When are we going to be on the downhill slide? As we sit here, we're hoping within the next 2 weeks. In Michigan, we've been told to stay indoors until the end of April, and May 1st, which coincides with our spring, really. Will kick in, and hopefully everything can start to get back to normal.
Yeah, that's, obviously, but like you said, it's the not knowing. It's the here's maybe when it could be the start. Now, what I do appreciate, though, is the last few press conferences that have come out of Washington and out of the White House is they have a wonderful health team that's a part of it. I love that Dr. Fauci. He is outstanding. And they're now getting enough reports and enough numbers where they're finally able to start to put together graphs now. They believe they can see where we're going. And, they just recently warned us. They said the next couple of weeks could be pretty tough, and that we've got to be ready for some big numbers that are going to come out and be ready for that. But they believe within that, then right after that is where we're going to hit our apex and we can start heading the other way if we all do what we're told.
And here's what irritates me is the media. I hate to get out on the tangent that everybody else is already on, but it's been such, depending where you go, and I flip through different channels and try and get different perspectives on it, but it has been so negative.
Yeah.
And it's almost to a point, I sit and listen to people running down these doctors and Washington's health team that's coming in and these experts and doom and gloom. And I'm like, my God, sit back. Let's see where this is going to go. Report facts.
Yeah.
Report facts.
Yeah, not thoughts and theories.
No.
It's amazing through social media, too, how many people have become financial experts, health experts, and everything else experts. I mean, they're all out there just weighing in like they know what they're talking about, but they're quarantined with the rest of us.
Stock up on your toilet paper, sit back in the corner, and wait it out with the rest of us.
Give me my beer instead of the toilet paper. And
I'm stocked up there, too.
Yeah, exactly.
The toilet paper is the one thing I think when we come out the other end of this,
no pun
nobody
intended.
is going to be No, there wasn't, but that nobody is going to be able to explain of everything you can stock up on.
Makes no sense.
No.
None.
No. So that could be in a some type of a paranormal context here at the other end. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting when this is all said and done. There will be studies done on how the human race reacted to this.
Oh, absolutely.
How we as people reacted to this. There was a great meme that was out very early on when this all started to hit, and it was a picture of an alien that said "see," and it was pointing to empty toilet paper aisles, and it said, "This is why the American people will never know about us," or something like that.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
But it was so true, because look at the panic that ensued, and it's scary. It's times we've never known.
No.
But, we truly are, another phrase that is overused, but it's the truth. We are all in this together. That's why we felt it was very important for us to get a new show out while this was going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We wanted to reach out to our listeners and let them know, hey, look, we're all here. We're doing our thing. And we wish all of our listeners the best. Do what is being asked of you. Try to do the social distancing the best you can. I know it's tough. Stay indoors if you're under the mandate like we are here in Michigan, and just do your part.
Right, right. And one thing that's really cool that you and I took part in a week or two ago now.
So much fun.
Good friend of ours, Jeff Belanger, author. He's the investigator and blah, blah, blah for Ghost Adventures, does the writing for that.
Yep.
He started doing something called it. I was sitting there with a book on Sunday morning reading, and my phone lights up, and it's Jeff.
He sent that text at like 8 in the morning. Why are you reading at 8 in the morning on a Sunday?
I don't know what day it is anymore. How would I know what day it is?
I
knew you would be, and I told him that.
Yes, you did.
And he said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this deal. I'm going to call it a speakeasy. We'll just get on. He said, I've got this new program. I can patch you guys in visually.
Slick program.
Yeah, it was great. And sit and have some beers and just BS. And that's what we did. And we had such a great time. Jeff's doing this. If you don't follow Jeff on social media, go to Jeff Belanger. He's on Twitter. He's on Facebook. He's got a YouTube channel.
Yep.
He's pumping all this out there.
It's fun.
And it was so much fun. He's doing it every other to every third day right now at different times, depending when he can get people. But man, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of people commented and reached out to us and said how much they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
How uplifting it was to take their minds off things. And as I mentioned, Jeff, he's the head writer and researcher for Ghost Adventures. They're all laid up.
That's just it. It's like these new shows that everyone loves and wants to watch, they can't get out there right now.
They're off the road. They can't travel. They have to be, let's face it, most states have some type of a stay-in-place order.
Some sort of, sure.
We're not locked in Michigan where we can go out for vital. Like,
essential.
For instance, today I have to go to the grocery store from here, trying to wrap everything up into one trip.
Right, exactly.
Hence, I can get out and we can record a show and put it out there. But, all of these people, you're going to see a big backlog of these shows that I think where we're looking at right now is they're filming for fall. So come fall, you're still going to be watching some reruns and some different programming.
Or they're going to try to pump them out pretty quick.
Yeah.
And film as they go. A lot of times they'll have them in the can and they'll be done for the whole fall season.
They'll have the season set.
Yeah. But this one, they might pump out one and film as they're going. A.B. Bruni just said, Kindred Spirits just wrapped up, and they have no idea. But I know one of them has at least announced they're coming back.
Yeah. Let's kick right into some Paranews.
Paranews. Here we go.
Yeah. Ghost Nation. They've announced their season 2. They've been out filming, and I believe the guys got everything wrapped up at this point. I can't say for certain. Haven't talked to anybody from that operation in a bit. But, they're coming back on this month, in fact. Jason Hawes, Steve Gonzalez, and Dave Tango returning to Travel Channel. They're back helping more people take care of ghost hauntings and other things that go bump in their homes. Travel Channel revealing more about the return of the series in a press statement. Jason Hawes, Steve Gonzalez, and Dave Tango, the paranormal investigators responsible for igniting the ghost hunting phenomena, are back for more adventures to the other side. The second season of the hit Travel Channel series Ghost Nation premieres Wednesday, April 22nd at 8 p.m. with a special 2-hour episode.
Good for them.
Yeah. This season's locations have bigger mysteries and more chilling and have never been investigated on television. This is what I'm liking about this show. They're not going over the same old.
Right. So. I haven't seen, what's that, Bobby Mackey's pop up there. Well overdone.
Yeah. Not only will the team be helping distraught homeowners, they're also bringing their skills to an abandoned prison complex and a menacing tattoo parlor. Well, I hope they got that one in before they got shut down.
Yeah, really.
And this time they're calling in an old friend for some help. Paranormal investigator Sherry DiBenedetti, I'm not familiar with you, sorry, Sherry, joins the investigations to keep a close eye on the monitors, reviewing footage on the hunt for all things paranormal. After 15 years of ghost hunts, we know that finding evidence of paranormal activity won't be enough to solve these problems entirely, said Hawes. We need to get to the source of the disturbance to bring these families much-needed peace, or else innocent people will continue to suffer. Since these are high-stakes personal cases, fans will see double the evidence and double the scares all season long.
Double your pleasure, double mint gum.
That's right.
So, and what's cool about this, man, if you're gonna launch another season, do it while most of us are on some type of stay-in-your-home mandate.
Yeah.
I mean, people are watching TV like crazy right now.
Yeah, the timing for the ratings probably couldn't be better.
That's true.
Remember, right before they launched season 1, we had Steve Gonsalves on.
Yes.
They were actually on the road
on location.
filming.
Yeah.
Yes, when Steve called in. And we got a little bit of insight from Steve on it, and I like the way they're doing this show. Like we said, it's not same old, same old. They're kind of getting back a little bit to where the whole Ghost Hunter show started in going in and helping out families, going into homes.
Places, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, and it's a little more... I don't want to say, well, I do want to say a little more believable than some of the other shows. They don't seem to go for the high drama in this, and that's not something I can see Jay Haas and Steve Gonsalves and Dave Tango jumping into.
No, they're pretty, as far as paranormal investigators go, pretty mellow. Pretty chill. So, no, I agree with you. So that's great to hear, and something we can look forward to in a couple weeks while we're doing our stay-at-home mandate here in Michigan and other places. Here's maybe one place they could investigate once we can get back out there and hang out again. So in February of this year, just a couple months ago, the Foo Fighters finished their next album. You a Foo fan?
Yeah, I can, some of their music I like, some I can do without.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm not a huge fan, but I do like some of their stuff, and I dig Dave Grohl. But so they finished up their next album, and soon after, frontman David Grohl says what happened while recording the album in a home that was built in Encino, California, back in the 40s, is nothing short of paranormal activity. According to the Rolling Stone article, Grohl and his bandmates started to see things happening that no one could explain. Quotes from Grohl: "When we walked into the house in Encino, I knew the vibes were definitely off the moment I walked in, but the sound was blanking on," Grohl said. "We started working there, and it wasn't long before things started happening. We would come back to the studio, and the next day, all of the guitars would be detuned." So, stepping back real quick, this is what a lot of bands will do. Instead of going to your traditional recording studios, they'll rent like a house, and then they'll find a place to set up the studio, and then they'll all live there for like a month or 3 weeks to work on this, and then let nothing, interfere with that. And that's what they were doing here in Encino. He says, or getting the, we'd set the board, and then when we would come back, all of the knobs would be sent back to zero, he said. We would open up Pro Tools Session, which is the software they use, and tracks would be missing. There'd be some tracks that were put on there that we didn't put on there, but just like weird open mic noises. Nobody playing an instrument or anything like that, just an open mic recording a room. And we would blanking zero in on it, the sounds that were coming from it, and we didn't hear any voices or anything really decipherable, but something was happening. Grohl wanted to go on. He couldn't because he signed a non-disclosure with the guy who owns the home because he's trying to sell it. So Grohl couldn't say anything more what the guy shared with him about the history of the house, but apparently there's a history to it too. So pretty cool there, the Foo Fighters. So if you are a Foo Fighter fan and you get their new album, pay close attention. Listen closely because
Kurt Cobain wanting to get back in there.
There you go.
He's had enough of Dave Grohl taking.
Yeah, he wants Grohl to get back to the drum set.
Right.
So pretty cool story there. If you're a Foo Fighters fan, get that album and listen closely. You might hear something.
That will be interesting to see if anything comes out of anything on the mics. I know I'd read that article too, and it said it was.
Well, what I miss about the old days, now that we're all digital, back in the days when you had albums, you could play them backwards and get scared of stuff. You can't do that anymore, really.
Well, say Satan might not be there, so you never know.
That's right.
He might be down in Texas, though, fulfilling a little bit of some voodoo ritual here.
Okay.
Flint, Texas is the town in Smith County. A Flint mother and daughter have been sentenced after pleading guilty to stalking the daughter's ex-husband. Christina Ferguson pleaded guilty to the felony stalking charge on Thursday, and her mother, Jacqueline Sierra Fegan, pleaded guilty to the same charge on Wednesday. Both women received 8 years of deferred adjudication probation, there we go, which means a conviction won't appear on their records if successfully completed. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, Fegan used pictures of the victim, a woman who previously had dated her ex-husband, to make objects related to voodoo, witchcraft, and Satanism to cause her to feel annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, and offended. Detectives with Tyler Police Department say Fagan and Ferguson created the objects and then together placed them on the property of the victim and her current boyfriend along with his daughter.
Wow.
So, yeah, little old voodoo action going on down in Texas.
Every now and then you hear it.
You do.
It pops up every now and then.
It's interesting. Some of the old belief systems that, and who knows?
You never know.
You expect to hear more of that in Louisiana and the old school Bayou,
not so much
New
Texas,
Orleans,
right.
But yeah, you get into back county Texas. Apparently, it's alive and well there as well.
I know it's something I don't ever want to mess with. I'll leave it to those who can actually do it and not get in trouble. Here's my final story. In everything that's going on right now with COVID-19, of course, those very faithful people, they are really looking for signs and comfort within their religion. Well, the Nietzscheans in Argentina have thanked the Virgin Mary for protecting them after claiming an image appeared in the sky amid the coronavirus outbreak. Last week, a figure was taken around 5 p.m. In the picture in the city of San Carlos in the northeastern Argentine province of Corrientes and was later spread on social media and messaging services. An unnamed resident whose daughter took the picture said in the sky a rainbow started to be seen and then some drops started to create the figure in the sky surrounding the sun. And it's the colors are pretty cool, and you can see where people are finding this and what they're seeing. Of course, it's the whole pareidolia thing. Your mind, your brain's eye wants to make sense of what they're seeing, and it's also the faithful wanting to be
depending on your background, is
right.
To the faithful, it may be the Virgin Mary. To somebody else, it might be a UFO.
Well, that's just very it. And so the report goes on to say, going along those lines, one resident, Ricardo Busto, I'm assuming his cousin is not very religious because he said to the reporter, my cousin says it looks like a penis. So I don't know.
A flying penis or this
to each their own.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, exactly. So
pass the bottle.
There you go. Actually, not a bad idea. I don't know about you, but my beer stocking up has been a little bit more these days, and not that it's getting out of control by any means, but hey, if I'm going to be home more than I'm at work, I'm going to have a cold beer.
Well, I don't blame you. We're in the position right now that I've got the whole family at home, so yeah. By what used to be a 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock happy hour gets pushed back to 3 o'clock.
There you go. And the fact that you can't even get to the happy hour to get a little alone
isn't that
time.
Terrible? The bars are closed. The bars are closed and the gyms are closed. That's half my day.
That's exactly.
I got nothing.
You did hear that Pornhub's giving free memberships, right?
I will take your word for that because I wouldn't know what you're talking about there.
Of course. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, though, we're very excited for our guests to come on inside the creaking door. I can't remember how many times we've had him in now.
Johnny, I don't know. I know we were just talking the first time we were supposed to call Mr. John Zaffis.
Yes.
We called in for the interview. It kicked to his answering machine. It turned out he was out getting his dog neutered. So he did get back to us later in the day. He's got a new book out, though.
Yes. Very excited to talk to John Zaffis, find out what the godfather of the paranormal is doing during these very unprecedented times. He's it'll be interesting to get his take on it as someone who has seen a few more years than us on this planet Earth.
Absolutely. And from somebody that has been on the front lines, and which his new book will hit a little bit more too, and what kind of feedback he's getting on the whole situation we're in right now too. Because I know a lot of events out there, paranormal events are getting canceled left and right. And John works year-round on these, and he's not one of these guys that comes out in the fall, hits the prime season, and goes off the road. He's traveling all the time. And I know you and I were supposed to do an event in South Dakota
next month.
Yeah, the end of next month, and that's gotten pushed off now. So, and a lot of the big events that were scheduled for spring, of course, out of necessity, have had to be canceled.
Right, exactly. So we'll get his insight on everything that's going on, and his new book, John Zaffis, is up next, Inside Creaking Door Paranormal Radio, powered by SlackJawPunks.com. Think of Michigan's Upper Peninsula as this scary attic sitting there above the rest of the state. I can think of no better guides to take you inside the history and lore than the guys of the Upper Peninsula Paranormal Research Society. Those are the words from writer and lead researcher for the hit TV show Ghost Adventures, Jeff Belanger. For over 20 years, the Upper Peninsula Paranormal Research Society has dedicated their lives to researching the paranormal. And now, some of their favorite cases are brought to life on the pages of their debut book, Supernatural Haunts. Come inside these pages with the team as they share intimately the history of each location and their experiences during their investigation. Learn their techniques and some of the most intense moments they have faced. True stories and true accounts of ghosts await you inside the pages of Supernatural Haunts by the Upper Peninsula Paranormal Research Society. Get your autographed copy today at www.supernaturalhaunts.com. And welcome back inside Creaking Door Paranormal Radio. Tim Ellis and Brad Blair with you, as heard on SlackJawPunks.com. And remember, elsewhere, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and now Spotify is where you can find us if you want to sit back and enjoy some past shows from Creaking Door. Brad, our next guest coming in, we talked about it in the opening segment. Very excited to have this gentleman back in with us.
That's right. An old friend who's very near and dear to our hearts, who's been working this field of the wild and woolly and paranormal everything for more years than most of us.
One way of putting it. Yeah, absolutely. We're very excited to welcome in the gentleman who is known as the godfather of the paranormal, Mr. John Zaffis. John, good afternoon, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
You bet. So, of course, let's jump right into it, talking about this crazy world we live in right now, John, and, and what this is just doing to our normal life and how crazy things are right now.
But it's definitely bizarre. It's definitely crazy. Difficult thing to just, pull back from doing investigations and just watching, so much transpiring and happening. Usually it's the time of year where all of us start kicking back in. We're out doing our events, getting involved with everybody, hanging out, It's kind of killing me because, no pun intended, I can't get up on the dance floor right now.
Well, no, in all seriousness, though, John, you're one of the guys that's out there year-round doing events and outside of investigations. I'm talking about working, different paranormal conferences and things. And how far are you pushed back to right now? I know Tim and I were talking a little bit at the start. We had some events coming up for the end of May that have already been canceled off.
Right at this point, I'm up to 10 gigs that are put on hold till next year are canceled, and that's bringing me right up into June. So wow. Mine actually started too with, because I do a lot of college and universities. I don't do many in the spring, but once those started canceling, then it was just like, I knew it was just going to be a short period of time before the conventions actually did, because all seriousness, it's just way too risky at this point in time to even do anything or really, want to get out there and socialize. And everybody knows how I am. It's hard for me to just keep my distance without grabbing everybody and hugging everybody.
That is the truth. You've made me jump a few times in the bar over the years at MI Paracon, and not expecting you to be there. So, and the good news is for our event here in Michigan, we're far enough out. It's the end of August. Everything's still a go right now, and we're still moving forward as is. We're actually still selling tickets even while this is all going on. So, and as always, John, you are the only one who has been to every event at MI Paracon. So as of right now, we're still planning on seeing you in August.
Well, I'm planning on it. I know a lot of us are planning on it. Do you realize you are really going to have your hands full with so many of us, thousands of us that have been pinned up? Do you know what it's going to be like up there?
It's probably going to be the biggest party we've had yet, which is all right with me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
We've got you doing something a little different this year, too, and it kind of originated. We had Dustin Perry came back up to Michigan. MI Paracon had helped sponsor Dustin coming in to give some motivational and anti-suicide lectures to the local school system. And he started telling me, I was driving Dustin to the hotel one night, and he started talking about, I believe it was last year, John, he had to give you a call on a case he was working on, that some really bizarre things were starting to happen. And we started BSing, and I said, hey, have you ever been up on stage and actually did a back and forth presentation with John? And he said, no, I never have. I think it'd be a blast. I said, I do too, because you've really got two distinct generations from the field there. So we got BSing a little bit, and you and Dustin Perry are going to be teaming up this year for God knows how that's going to go, but for this year at MI Paracon on stage.
Well, I think it's going to go great. Dustin, he's another one. I've known him for years and years. Very compassionate young man. I think the world of Dustin. I've taken a couple of road trips with him, going to conventions. Again, I'm looking forward to it because, it gives you that opportunity to get up there and talk so people can hear us speak. Because I love that open forum where we can just talk back and forth and just let people throw a few questions in there. So hopefully everybody will enjoy it.
Yeah,
I can't see how they wouldn't.
No, I've already got my seat reserved. Because over the years we have definitely put you up there with a lot of people. We've had you up there with Chip Coffee a couple times. That's been fun, a lot of fun. We've had you up there with our dear Rosemary Ellen Guiley a couple times. God rest her soul. You by yourself, you've moderated some panels. So now we're going to throw you up there with Dustin, and I'm looking forward to see what comes of this one for sure. Now, have you and him worked a lot in the field together, John?
We've worked on several cases, yes. A lot of times when he doesn't really live all that far away from me, believe it or not. And again, too, with him intermingling, him doing cases and getting involved with it, if he calls me, I know it's serious and I know it's something that he's intertwined with trying to help somebody. So he's, again, I just look at it where that passion that he does and he puts out there to be able to help people is just phenomenal. And yeah, I've had the opportunity to get involved with him several different times over the years.
That's good. Then no doubt that'll come out on the stage at MI Paracon.
Yeah, and he's such a great guy too. Dustin is one of these people that is so sincere. You meet a lot of people with a lot of fluff in this field, and Dustin is not one of those.
That's for very, very, very true. And he sings a hell of an Elvis.
He does.
Yes.
We'll look.
Who are you telling? I had to listen to it in the car for 17 hours.
Okay, very good. Maybe that's a story we'll hear more about come August for sure.
So let's hop into the new book, John. What lurks within? Where did this the idea for this? Now you have several books out already. Where did the idea for this one come from?
Well, Debbie and Larry are very good friends of mine. We've worked together Larry, Father Larry, and I have known each other 40-plus years. And all three of us had started working out with Ed and Lorraine Warren. And over the course of the years, we just became very close. And we had just found out a few years back that Larry was actually related to my wife's family.
Oh, wow.
And, so for many, many years, it was the running joke with all of us that we all hung around. We were like family. Come to find out, we really are. So,
small world.
Worked on so many cases together. And Debbie loves to journalize. She would just journalize all our adventures, our different cases, and she just kept compiling and and I think it was about 2 years ago, give or take, she had sent me over a couple of stories. She says, I want to throw them up on the website. And I sat and read the stories, and I called her back, and I go, you just held my interest. And I said, you know how difficult that is. And, I says, I definitely think, let's pull together, several, decent stories, and let's get them into a book. And she just kept working on it. And, she pulled it all together, and boom, there it is. And she came up with the title, too, What Lurks Within.
I love that.
So, going into our adventures, some of the different cases, some of the experiences, or some of the things that occurred and happened with us over the past 18 years was journalized and put into that book. So far, we've gotten a very good response back from a lot of people that have been reading it, saying, hey, and having a hard time putting this down. I just have to keep going and reading it.
Now, John, I found it on Amazon. I found the Kindle version. Is there a print version of this available yet?
There is. We just about wrapped it up. We're just waiting. As we all know, due to the circumstances and everything's
sure
getting held up from being proofed or being released. So we're just waiting patiently for the hardcover to come out.
Very nice, because as Brad and I are, we are old school bookies, so we love that. We want that spine in our hand and to hold on to that book. So that's what we are waiting on at the moment.
Well, I definitely could tell you this without even being sidekick. I think we'll have it by August.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, very, very good. So you've shared a lot of stories throughout your lectures and stuff, John. Are some of the stories that, without giving away too much, obviously, but within the new book, What Lurks Within, are there some of the stories you've shared before? Are there some that you've never shared with the public before?
There's several in there that I've never shared publicly. And never just, gone in very, significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Debbie Elward is definitely a gifted person. And you don't have to, do anything or give her any type of information, and she will pick up on things. Now, when Debbie and I get together, we'll just argue like brother and sister. This has gone on since day one. And Larry just sits there and doesn't say a word. He just laughs about it all the time.
He knows better.
Now, we were going on a case, and Debbie had asked me a couple of questions, and I had said to her, I says, well, it's none of your freaking business. You'll find out when we get there. Well, she kept stewing and everything, but the funniest thing was she described the house. And I can remember this story because we pulled up in front of this house. Larry and I looked at each other, and I go, there's no way she could have freaking known this. It was a little pink house with a white fence. It had a black roof on it, and there were toys in the front yard, and she hit everything right on the nail.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
go ahead, John.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, when these things occur and these different types of things happen, it's just, you take that, moment and you just sit back and go, how could she know all that? I didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, exactly.
And again, we're going back to the time framings when, the internet and everything wasn't, at our disposal like it is today. So she really didn't know the address or anything to look anything up.
Well, and what I was getting at was the colors, the schemes that you just, that's pretty specific. Kind of, pick out a pink. There's not a lot of pink houses.
No. And again, that was the whole thing that just, because then after that, I just kept calling it the Pinky Tuscadero case.
Love it.
So you've been friends and you've worked with Larry and Debbie for 30 plus years. Is there a time frame that this book encapsulates?
When it does what?
When is there a certain time frame you tried to hit with this book, or does this go all the way back to the first time you've worked with them, or are we, trying to get certain types of cases?
No, it just it came about just with her journalizing her stories, all the stories of our adventures. That's what it all came about 2 years ago. And I said, this is amazing. She sent me over two to read, and, I was reading them because she wanted to put them up on the website. And I went, no. I said, no. I said, these stories have to go into a book.
Yeah.
I said, they're
Absolutely.
so unique. It's from the perspective of the three of us. It's not just a ordinary type, investigation, bangings, rappings, and everything like that. She was able to incorporate what we were picking up on, what we were feeling, what we were doing, and how everything transpired.
Fantastic.
So it's a different approach that she took to writing the stories up. It's really, her journal on what the three of us went through.
That's what I was just going to ask you, if it reads like a journal, because that sounds very interesting to me.
It does.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, for it to hold my interest on reading the stories, that was pretty good. And then it would be, as I was reading things, I'd get back on the phone and go, I completely forgot about some of these cases.
Mm-hmm.
I said, after the years, you get so involved with things and you just move forward. And some of the detail that she would put into them, I would just sit there and go, how in the world can you remember all this?
Because she wrote it down, right?
She wrote it down. That's exactly what she said to me. She said, I wrote it down.
Yep. Those journals, they work, but I've never gotten into it. But
yeah, same thing with me.
Yeah. So, John, let's. So the book is called "What Lurks Within," and of course, it couldn't come out at a better time as people are either mandated. Are you in a state? Are you mandated to stay home in Michigan? Here, our governor has a stay-at-home mandate for 3 weeks. We're just wrapping up week 1 of it. What about where you at?
Yes, we've been in lockdown, as I call it, for the past couple of weeks, and now they just extended it right to the end of April.
And I have a feeling our governor will be doing the same soon, right after President Trump extended the social distancing until April 30th. I'm sure all the stay-at-home mandates will happen as well. But, so what I was getting at was what a perfect time to get this book out there. If people are needing something, we're all spending more time at home than we're probably used to. What a great time to pick up a new book, But on the other side of that, were you involved? How has this affected your actual caseload that you're working on right now? Were you involved with anything when this happened, and now you're just trying to do whether Skype calls or phone calls with any clients?
Yes, I was actually in the beginning of March. I was involved with quite a few different cases. And as everybody knows, I work with a lot of clergy, especially priests. Mm-hmm. And already all the alarms were going off. Already word was coming out that they wanted to curb as much as could possibly be curbed because it was this crazy epidemic, this virus that was going on. So I was already hearing about it, prior to, it actually hitting to the point that it hit. And we were all already pulling back. A lot of different people that I was involved with working and helping them, because I do a lot of that behind the scenes today, where I get involved with cases helping, a lot of my spiritual friends. I'll go help them evaluate and help them do different things, to be able to move forward on the cases. And the brakes got slammed on a lot of the cases. At this point, the best thing that we could do to help protect everybody, and I keep saying this to all the paranormal groups and the paranormal people out there, stay home at this point. Yeah. Because going and getting involved, investigating, going into a person's home, you don't know what you could be walking into, if somebody has something or vice versa. Yep. So you're better off to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And I think at this point, it's more about counseling at this point. If someone needs to reach out, it's picking up the phone and calling them, or using Skype or something, and trying to help them that way.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's the best thing that we could do at this point. I mean, all of us are at that point right now where, we're just sitting back and seeing what's occurring, seeing what's happening, and many of us all have family members that are definitely, involved on the front lines. I mean, my 2 daughters are involved with the front line right now. Wow. My son Chris dates a nurse. She's on the front line. So all 3 of our kids right now, are involved. And, Our guard is super, super high. We're just worrying about them alone. So
I bet, and I'm sure you're probably checking on them daily. Once they get off work, you're probably checking in.
we probably talk more now than when they all lived home.
Well, and that's the crazy thing about what's happening right now. And I've talked about this a number of times on my morning show and my real job, the one that pays me, not this creaking door thing, but the one that pays me. I've talked about it a lot, that once this is all said and done, if nothing else, COVID has made us hit the reset button a little bit. It's slowed us down and has brought us back to a little bit more basic lifestyle instead of being worried about running here and there and everywhere and trying to be 3 different places at one time.
The amazing thing about this whole thing is, I don't know if you guys are aware of it or not, but I love to walk. Mm-hmm. Ever since I went down in 2015 with the heart attack, mm-hmm. I walk. And over the course of the past 2 months, I can't tell you how many of my neighbors I've met that I've never met before out walking, out in their yards.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just totally amazing. And I'll come back in and start telling, my wife Cheryl about this neighbor, about that neighbor, about this neighbor. I says, this is scary. I said, this is just like going back in time where everybody knew each other. We all knew our neighbors.
Yes.
We all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Today our society's not like that, but it's funny you're saying that because it's true. It was like the reset button got hit, and I'm out there talking to people and, just going back and forth, and it's a totally different feeling. So
it is.
I think it's definitely to that point now, too, where I hope a lot of people are taking a look at the big picture and realizing a lot of the stuff that everybody nitpicks and argues and fights over really isn't worth it in the end.
No, absolutely. No. That's what I say. It kind of brings everything back into focus. It's just so damn uncomfortable feeling. That's the problem.
I think it's that helpless feeling where you don't know. There's going to be an end. There's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, but you don't know when it's going to hit, and you can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing with us today. We all like a beginning, a middle, and an end, even though that, the circumstances, again, we just don't, none of us want to deal with this or anything, but none of us like that uncertainty. We don't like having our lives put on hold and just do normal things.
Right.
So again, that's a very hard thing for most people. I'll watch some of the postings and see some of the things, and I just sit back and cringe and go, gee, just be happy that you're okay right at this point in time.
We were talking about that.
Be happy that, you don't have somebody or something major happening right at this point.
Yeah, Brad and I were talking about Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So again, it's just I think it's one of those things that all of us take that big step back and just are looking at.
Yeah, agreed. And well said. We got to, instead of being on that social media and trying to spread your thoughts and theories, that's helping no one. If nothing else, spread some positive energy and then get out there and take a damn walk.
Yep.
Yeah. And so what, other than walking then, what is John Zaffis, now that the times we can't do our normal things, what are you doing to pass the time?
Been working on book 5.
Yeah, that's what we love to hear. Good for you.
Yeah, we've just been brainstorming on a bunch of the different things to, be able to throw into book 5
Mm-hmm.
and cooking my butt off and gaining weight.
Yeah. I think we're all in that boat right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Few too many beers and. Yep.
Any other television programs in the works, John?
Not right at this point. I never rule anything out, but you never know what the future will hold or what I'll end up doing. I mean, there's right now the way I look at it, there's just so many of them now.
Yeah,
right.
There, a tremendous amount. Again, and I just take that step back and look at it. The other thing too is I don't know if either one of you caught last night the Skinwalker Ranch new series that just started.
I didn't. No. I wanted to see that.
It was good.
Was
You got to check it out.
Okay.
Yes. You got it. You got to check it out. And you know me, normally I don't say anything one way or another. But
all right.
And the only other thing that I hold on to dearly and I won't miss is the Curse of Oak Island.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. If you got any connections to those guys, get them to Paracon. We've tried. We're not having any luck with them, but we're working on that. We want to get them here for that.
And they're from the UP.
I don't think most of them are interested in anything speaking publicly, and it's kind of sad because they got such dynamite stories.
They do.
They're missing such an opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, the Skinwalker Ranch, I read George Knapp's book on that, and I've been fascinated with that. Is it a modern show? I mean, are they basing this on things that they're doing right now, or is it historical?
Actually, it was both.
Okay.
They have several, doctors, scientists, and engineers involved with it. They were setting up and just going into different things and, wanting to test different things, different theories to be able to prove things out from a scientific perspective. So to me, it was a little bit more, of what we all want to see today, what we all want to see if they can get that repeatability and get different things proven out, whether is it something paranormal or is it just something natural that occurs. So they were looking at a lot of different options, if you will, being able to prove some of the stories and some of the things out. And to me, that was super cool.
I got to say, hopefully that's on demand.
Yeah, if the Godfather of the Paranormal is recommending a show, I'm going to at least check it out.
Yeah.
It's better than that damn tiger thing on Netflix. It's got to be, whatever that is. Whatever that thing is.
I'm telling you, Tim, you've got to watch Tiger King if for no other reason than to understand all the memes coming across on social media.
Oh, man.
Talk about disturbing.
Crazy stuff. But yeah, speaking of the television side of things right now, John, 2 years ago, if we were having this conversation, we would have said, all right, the TV side of things starting to die out. They're really pulling back, and then all of a sudden, bam! About a year and a half ago, there was this onslaught of re-signing of shows, bringing back some people who were there in the earlier days, and now it's just flooded again.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what actually triggered that. Many of us that do talk, that did shows in the past, are doing them now. We all say the same thing. We just don't understand what triggered, the onset of it to, come to the forefront to the extent that it has. And it's amazing, and it's good to watch because, especially, too, if I'm flicking through things and I'll stop and watch something like that. It's to the point now my wife and I would just sit there and she goes, yeah, I bet you know all them, too. And I go, yeah, I do.
Well,
so,
Travel Channel has they've switched all their programming over to paranormal, almost.
Just about. I would say at least 90% of everything that they have on there is all, paranormal shows. And again, it's, some of them are different. Some of them, the perspectives of it are, again, you just sit back and you watch it and everything. And it's cool with some of them because we finally get to see some new locations.
Right.
Yeah.
Because some of them now, it's just to the point they've done certain locations to death, no pun intended, but, it's just... When you get to see some new locations that some of these guys are doing out there, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And I like the, what is it, Paranormal Caught on Camera, or Paranormal...
Well, there was the one Rosemary was working
Brian
on.
Kane was doing it. Rosemary was on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's interesting. That one's fun to watch, too.
It is.
See? Me too. Yeah. I'll watch it because I just love watching that footage that these people are capturing and sitting there. And I'll just look and go, they could create that. Nah, they can't create that one.
Yep.
And I'll just sit there and watch. And Brian's doing a fantastic job with that.
He is. Yep.
He really is. It's good to see him back on TV doing it. And I've talked to him several times, and he seems to be having a good time with it and everything. So it's cool to be able to watch and to be able to see, and it's still good to be able to see my old friend Rosemary pop up when they start doing the reruns.
Agreed.
Yes, and I love the variety of phenomena that they cover on there.
Well, what it reminds me of is the programs that before there was a paranormal show on every night of the week, back when they would only come out around Halloween, someone would come up with a program like this, and I remember as a kid just loving the format that they used, and I think that's when I think Rosemary was one of the driving forces behind that show, but I think that's what they wanted to go for, was kind of the way the programs used to be done.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they're keeping it basic. They're keeping it where, people are giving their opinions. Mm-hmm. They're just saying it could be, or it could be this, or it could be that. Because I enjoy that when I see several different people giving their different opinions on what it could be or what it might be. So that is something, that fascinates me. And I enjoy watching it. I really do.
Yeah, and they, as we said, the footage that gets sent in, it's just fun. It's a fun show to go with. Where do you fall in on the UFO phenomena, John?
I don't disbelieve. Mm-hmm. I think there's a tremendous amount of things that all of us just don't understand. There's things that just aren't logical. I never ruled out the fact that there's a possibility there's, other life form out there. I mean, you're talking to a guy here that sat 24 hours straight at Loch Ness looking for the Loch Ness Monster.
Yes, I love to hear that.
I don't rule anything out. I can still remember this. I was over traveling with Ed and Lorraine Warren. We were there. And myself and two of the other researchers spent all night sitting there. My uncle came to pick us up in the morning, hits me on my back, and he goes, "Well, did you see it?" And I go, "No, I've been sitting here waiting all night." And all he did was bust out laughing.
Well, then you pretty much answered my next question. I figured if Brad went there with UFOs, I was going to ask you along the lines of cryptids. So if you sat 24 hours to try to find Nessie, then obviously you're open to that as well.
Oh, absolutely. I don't rule anything out. I can't. Because once you start doing that, then I think you're putting yourself in a box. And I never, ever have done that. Again, I keep that open mind. What if? What if there are things out there? What is it about Bigfoot that nobody can find a skeleton? What is it that everybody has all these experiences? Why haven't we found a carcass of the Loch Ness Monster? Why can't we find some of these things?
Right.
What is the big mystery with all this? But yet, all these people have these sightings and credible people, and those are the things that I look at, and I keep that open mind with when it comes into absolutely anything, and especially when it comes into tying in with so much with the experiments and things. And for any of you that are familiar with the Montauk experiment that took place on the tip of Long Island, for many years, it's not that far away from me. We hear all the stories, what happened, and on the base, and boom, one night everybody disappeared. And I had an opportunity to work on a case on the tip of Long Island, a big estate. And the grandmother had worked at one of the motels where everybody was staying. Ooh. And she, out of the clear blue, just started talking to me about it and said, I went into work, and she said everybody was just gone because there was a big creature that appeared. I mean, out of the clear blue, this woman just comes out and starts telling me. After that, I was just like, whoa, there's something to all this.
Oh, did you get any more details from her? That would have been outstanding.
She was saying to me, yes, actually, we were talking, and she was going back and forth with a couple of the other employees that had the opportunity to talk to some of the scientists and people that were there, and they were just so petrified and so scared at this big creature monster thing that appeared, made all the electricity go out, but different things were occurring and happening, that the military literally shut everything down, and all those people that were there from all over the world were dispersed, and they all went back home.
Wow.
And she said she said it truly happened. She said, did a creature or something appear, or the devil appear? She said, I don't know, but I can only tell you, stories that just got shared to me by people that worked for me at the hotel and motel.
I always felt... I always felt that Stranger Things was loosely based on
I believe it
that
was.
experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The whole interdimensional.
Yeah. Right, interdimensional beings and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
We don't know. We can't rule none of this stuff out. We just can't.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think, and it's those things that, sitting here as a 47-year-old adult, but I'm still a child at heart, it's those, the stories of Bigfoot and UFOs and Loch Ness Monster that bring me back to still being a kid, picking up those books at the library and loving to read the mysteries out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, I think that's, again, regardless of anything, that's one of the things within me also, too. I'm like a little kid.
Yep.
You start telling me stories and you start telling me things, I perk right back up and I go, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? And, when the opportunity is there to be able to go check out some of that stuff, it's super cool.
You bet.
Super cool.
You get a good story going, and we're ordering another round of Coors Light before you know it, John.
It sounds good to me.
Well, very good. John Zaffis, thank you so much, my friend, for taking time to be with us inside the Creaking Door. Of course, you can get his new book, What Lurks Within. Right now, the Kindle version is available, and hard copy coming soon. So very good stuff. John Zaffis, you and your family, be well, stay safe out there. We're going to get through this COVID-19 thing, and before you know it, we're all going to be partying here in Michigan in August, all right?
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and the best to you guys, and keep all your families, and tell your wives and everybody I said hi.
Thanks, Johnny. We will.
Will do, John. John Zaffis inside the Creaking Door. Thank you, sir. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more on the way with Creaking Door Paranormal Radio, powered by SlackJawPunks.com.
Guys, tired of trying to make that burly beard of yours look and smell good? Then check this out. Straight out of the Motor City, where they know a thing or two about being tough, comes Detroit Beard Collective, specializing in making that facial hair look good with products like beard butter, beard oils and soaps, specialty combs, and so much more. Come check out the line today at DetroitBeardCollective.com. DBC takes pride in using Detroit and Michigan-based companies and ingredients in all aspects of their product development and manufacturing as they continue to build Detroit's premier grooming company. Even burly dudes like to look and smell good, and DBC will make that happen. Do yourself and your badass beard a favor and log on to DetroitBeardCollective.com and check out all the amazing products they offer. And when you're ready to check out, use promo code SJPDBC to receive 10% off. Detroit Beard Collective, cleaning this world up one beard at a time.
Welcome back inside Creaking Door Paranormal Radio. Tim Ellis, Brad Blair with you as we are getting ready to wrap things up. Our I guess hopefully this is our the only COVID-19 edition of Creaking Door.
Hopefully when we're back on with you in a couple of weeks,
yes,
we're talking about how things are on the decline.
Coming down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just to be on a little more serious note too, if you're not at home, if you have to be out working, if you are on the front lines, we really from our hearts want to thank you.
Yes.
All of the first responders, all of the medical people, all of the people that have to go out and work and be at grocery stores, gas stations, places that really we rely on every day and take for granted for way too often. We really want to thank all of you for your service at this time.
You bet. Well said, Brad. And that's on behalf of everyone here at Creaking Door Paranormal Radio. Thank you for what you are doing. We also want to thank John Zaffis for coming on inside the Creaking Door. That was a great conversation. Just kind of went all over the place, and it's kind of what we wanted. It wasn't so much really to have to talk about haunted, his cases and stuff this time. We more than anything, Brad, I think we just wanted to check in on him, make sure he was doing okay during all this.
Absolutely, and we've known John for a lot of years.
Right.
And we've been friends with John for a lot of years, and it's so good to have someone like him with such a positive outlook on things, and John always does.
Yep.
And just to hear that he's doing okay, his family's doing okay, he's getting his walking in.
That's good to hear. And you can do that. The stay-at-home mandates does not mean you cannot get out. Social distancing, 6 feet apart. Go out, take your dog for a walk. You go for a walk. take a bike ride, you just got to stay away from everyone.
Well, it's funny, too, because looking out the window at my home office, it's people nonstop now.
Yeah.
I mean, the streets are busier than I see them in midsummer.
Yep.
And
without cars.
Yeah.
People
right.
walking and doing their thing. Yeah.
So it's the only exercise I think a lot of people are getting right now.
I think so. No, I couldn't agree more. John mentioned it in his segment, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm seeing more, and you are. So, and that's, we're doing what we've got to do to keep ourselves from going crazy, too. I mean, human beings are not meant to be social distance animals.
No.
That's not how we operate.
No. By nature, we are a social creature.
Yeah.
So this is tough.
It
and at least here in Michigan, we're looking at the entire month of April really being shut in.
Yep.
And we still have snow on the ground.
Yeah.
We're not.
We're at least getting some sunshine now, which is nice.
We are today.
Yeah.
But we're not losing our summer over this.
No.
Yet. And
so.
Fingers crossed we do not.
Right.
But yeah, it's really eerie. Mm-hmm. It's eerie when you drive downtown and you only see 2 or 3 cars when you're used to passing 40, 50.
It is. You make that turn to go into the downtown area, and it's just
Twilight Zone.
It is. It is very, very much like that, and eerie is the best way to put it. But and of course, there's already a movie coming out. A Canadian company already made a coronavirus. They claim that they had started making this before it even really jumped to the over here. They said that the idea of the movie, it's going to be a streaming platform they're trying to sell it to, and it's about a group of people who are trapped inside an elevator, and of course one of them is Chinese, and so they say it's meant to draw attention to racism, people panicking and this and that. So we'll see but it's already out there.
You see, this is another one in the Simpsons playbook.
No.
The Simpsons had an episode on years ago, and part of the news was the coronavirus.
Seriously?
Look it up.
Wow.
Look it up. It's freaky.
That is
Some
freaky.
of the things that have popped up over the years, and granted, they've done 2,000-3,000
I was going to say, when
episodes.
you've done that many episodes.
But it's in the background on a newscast on The Simpsons behind their main anchor guy, and it's a coronavirus thing.
Wow.
I haven't went back and played the clip. I've just seen this online of people getting it up and posting it.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently, and I guess I should look at it before I get out here and announce it. But yeah, spread the rumors. So...
There's enough people doing that.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, it's they show on the backboard it's a coronavirus thing. So another one of those eerie things out of the Simpson universe.
Yeah. Interesting. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to our mailbag segment here now. This, of course, is where you can reach out to us via our Facebook page or our website and send us a message, send us a question, send us a story, send us good recipes we've said in the past because we love to eat. But this one...
Especially this time.
That's right. This one here isn't a question. It is just a very nice message we received from Dottie out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, so our home state. She says, "Hello, Tim and Brad. I just wanted to take a moment to send a message saying thank you. In these very uncertain times, I find comfort in listening to your show and past shows. I've always been a big fan of the topics you speak about, and while I'm closed in my room, I put on your shows, and it takes my mind off of everything else, at least for that time. I'm 13 years old, and I am frightened, but I know things will get better, but that doesn't change how I'm feeling right now at this moment. Your show helps to ease that fear, and I wanted you to know that. I'm sure others are probably feeling the same way and may not have sent a message to you guys, but please know you're helping as we all do our part. Your forever fan, Dottie." So very nice.
Thanks, Dottie.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
We appreciate that. And, we do this because we love it. We're making no money off this. Maybe someday. But, we're making no money off this. We do it because we love it, and we want to share our love of the strange topics we talk about with people who also enjoy it.
Everything weird and creepy, just like we talked to John about.
That's right.
And that's such a great thing to bring on a guest like John, who is wide open. They don't get closed-minded. There are people in different facets of the paranormal. And some people don't like, people in cryptid fields, people in ufology. And I'm not saying all of them, but there's a lot of them that don't like that paranormal tagline put on them.
That's right. Yeah, it's kind of like a gang turf war. I'm Bigfoot. I'm not ghosts, and I'm UFOs, and I'm not Bigfoot. And there really is some of that out there, which is crazy to believe. Me, and you, we're just as John had mentioned. Why you got to be open to every possibility.
Yeah, once you start putting those walls up and getting closed-minded and just kind of you get yourself trapped into, I think, too small of a room.
For sure. And and then you're taking the magic away, man.
Yeah.
Just enjoy life for what it is and enjoy the mysteries. And with that being said, hang in there. People, hang in there. We're going to get through this, and before you know it, we'll be here's one thing we know for sure. A new chapter in the school history books is being written right now.
Wow, is it ever?
Yeah, we're living through it. We're living through something that we have never witnessed in generations.
Yeah.
And so hang in there.
This will be, and I think we talked a little bit about it in the opening segment, this is going to be something that they write the next playbook out of.
Yep. You bet.
This is the way this is handled. Things that could have been done better, but again, it's the first game. It's the first game like this. Hopefully, we don't see it again. There's a possibility we will.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you're right. It's going to change a lot of things, I think, obviously for the better once we get on the other side of this. So do our part, wash your hands, social distancing, but try to find ways to have fun. And if listening to Creaking Door is one of those ways, well, we appreciate that. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you for coming on Inside the Creaking Door for another episode. On behalf of our producers and my co-host Brad Blair, my name's Tim Ellis. Thanks for coming on Inside Creaking Door Paranormal Radio, powered by SlackJawPunks.com.
The Creaking